Warning, only watch this video if you've already seen the Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna movie. Alright, today is the day, guys, that Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna came out. And as a celebration, I made this video to help and try to explain the ending of the movie and how we got from this to this. So, based on Dr. Minoa's explanation on why the Digimon leave their partners as the children get older in the Last Evolution movie, I have come up with a theory as to how Tai, Matt, and the rest of the gang will reunite with their partner Digimon. Okay, are you ready? Digiport open! Okay, fact number 1. Dr. Minoa states that Digimon choose their partners as children due to the amount of potential that a child has. As children grow, their potential dwindles, and so does the bond between partner and Digimon. Now, the definition of potential as an adjective is having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. As a noun, it means latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and lead to future success or usefulness. This scene suggests that there has never been an adult to ever have a partner Digimon as of yet. This suggests that the glue that holds a Digimon partner relationship together is in fact a child's potential, a child's growth, and a childlike sense of wonder or faith of that potential. When we find Matt and Tai, they are two college guys who really don't know what they want out of life, and therefore, they have no vision for their future. They are beginning to indeed lack a sense of purpose and potential, thus the beginning of the fateful countdown. Fact number 2. Genai suggests that unless that spark of potential can be reignited, there is no way of making the Digimon stay. Genai compares their bond to death, and death is unavoidable. But the statement Genai makes is in fact a suggestion that may be possible to keep the Digimon. Fact number 3. Well, this is more of an argument than a fact, and it's an argument that I myself is included on. How come in the final scene when Agumon and Gabumon ask Tai and Matt, "What will you do tomorrow?" they answer, "Who knows what the future will bring?" Well, isn't that showing some hope and potential for tomorrow? And wouldn't that allow their Digimon to stay? Let me say this. Other than the emotional fight scene, we still have yet seen Matt or Tai change their current view of life. They still sound pretty down and bummed out, and yes, they know that their Digimon's leaving, so that's an excuse. Plus, they knew what Minoa and Genai had told them, and maybe as a last-ditch effort to make their Digimon stay, they wanted to just say anything, even if they were pretending to make their loving partner stay. I know I would. Wouldn't you say anything you could to allow somebody special in your life to stay? It's part of life, isn't it? It isn't till the very final scene where we see Tai and Matt begin to relax and show a little bit of hope for the future. The sakura tree that is in bloom is a symbolism of this. It's the cherry blossom tree in Japan. It's the national flower of Japan, the cherry blossom or the sakura. The sakura represents a time of renewal and optimism. The pops of pink mark on the sakura flower represents the ending of winter and signify the beginning of spring. And due to their quick blooming season, cherry blossoms also symbolize the transience of life, a major theme in Buddhism. And as Tai is running, he sees those blossoms. He takes a deep breath, begins to run harder and faster, and as Tai and Matt announce in unison, "We will see you again." So I have about 3 explanations for this. Explanation 1. The final episode of the original Digimon Adventure 02 shows an even older Tai, probably in his 30s, working with Agumon as diplomats between the Earth and the digital world, which is in fact foreshadowed in Kizuna. It's when Tai was studying in college in polyecon, and his final thesis was how humans and Digimon could coexist. This is in Kizuna, and that last thesis is in one of the final scenes of the movie. The same episode also shows Matt and Gabumon, grown up, probably again in his 30s, as the first astronauts to go to Mars. This is also foreshadowed in the movie Kizuna, when Matt is looking up at the space rocket in the final scene. As a result of Tai and Matt recognizing these dreams and aspiring for them to come true, after Kizuna, it could be what allows Agumon, Tai, Matt, and Gabumon to return to be partners. This could be what allows Agumon and Gabumon to return to Tai and Matt after they recognize their dreams after the end of Kizuna. So we didn't see that part. And I just literally came up with this theory as I was creating this video. So let me go back to my first main. Well, before I go back to my first main theory, there is another theory out there, and it's really good too. I love it. There's a theory out there that suggests that Izzy or the O2 Digidestin will come up with a plan to save the day and bring back everyone's Digimon. I love this idea, and yeah, it would make for such a much better show to watch, an epic show to watch for sure. And I would love it, and I'm all for that as well. But let me go back to my original theory, explanation number 2, or 3 at this point. The main theory I came up with is that when you go back and watch the last episode of Digimon Adventure 02, everyone is grown up. They have jobs, they have their Digimon, and they have children. They're all in their 30s. It looks like they're pretty grown up. But by having children, Tai and Matt are able to share their children's childlike wonder that they can do anything. Matt and Tai are able to relive their childhoods through the eyes of their own kids. And because of them being able to believe that anything is possible for their children, they are in fact instilling potential and sharing that potential as well. So how do we go from Kizuna to the end of Digimon Adventure 02? As Dr. Manoa states in Kizuna, Digimon choose children as partners because of the unlimited potential children possess. When they begin to grow, that potential dwindles, and so does the connection with their Digimon. So how do we end up with the ending of Adventure 02? Where everyone is grown up and they still have their Digimon. It's simple. Tai, Matt, and all of them have a child. What happens when we have children? Well, if you're a parent, I'm sure you know. We tend to relive our childhood through their eyes. By living life through our children's eyes, it gives us a childlike wonder again, and hopes of our children's potential is limitless. We feel like anything is possible again, restoring our potential. Thus, Agumon, Gabumon, is able to return back to Tai and Matt. And this is how we get to Digimon 02. I hope they make a movie based on this someday. I know this is how I feel with my daughter anyways. Oddly enough, it was when she turned 6, I dusted off my Digivice and began watching Digimon with her. As a 33-year-old father, I began to relive my childhood through the eyes of my daughter. I began to ask her what she wanted to be when she grew up. And when she told me, I would always respond, and still do to this day, you can be whatever you want as long as you work hard at it. I even went back, opened up my drawer, dusted off my old Digivice and gave it to her. Popped in my old Digimon DVDs and began to share the whole cycle of the adventure with her again. I ended up buying her own Digivice, and now she is a Digidestined just like us. If I had not had my daughter, who knows when I would have seen my Digimon, Agumon, again. She brought back my childhood. She brought Agumon back to me. Keep in mind, this is just a few theories, and I'm sure there are multiple ways your Digimon could come back as well. I'd like to say thank you to Ty, Matt, and all the Digidestined and all the Digimon for 20 years of precious memories and adventures. Now it's our turn to share new memories and new adventures with our children. Just always remember, once a Digidestined, always a Digidestined.